which I don't know
Oh,
how they're going to do that, honestly. Like, I don't know it seems like a tall order if you ask me. But that's the one thing I'm like crazy for because it's the one thing that I'm kind of like I'm always library first. I'm always all that kind of stuff. And
yeah, I
it's,
post on there.
it's the one thing where, they have like almost 10 times the subscribers on library that I do on YouTube. But it's like the one thing I do sort of rely on YouTube for as a stream. I do it on, Facebook and Twitter and stuff too. But as far as like decentralized, it's the only one of those. So, oh,
Yeah.
it looks like we're live. So, hey everyone, or what will soon be everyone. We're gonna have a great show. Let me hit this intro graphic, and we'll go. So, hey everyone. Looks like we actually do have one person watching now. Happy Friday. Of course, it's going to be a great day, great show because I'm joined with the one and only Crypto Blood. How's it going, man?
Hey, man. Great to be on. I had a great time with you coming on
Mm-hmm.
my show a couple of months ago. We're gonna have to do that again.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
happy Friday to you too, man. What's going on?
Oh, not much. Out of curiosity, is there a Crypto Crip?
I'm looking for him. I'm
Yeah.
looking for him.
So you
He's
can go
my
put one in his
he's
head.
my enemy, arch enemy. Right.
Yeah, exactly. I guess a Crypto Crip is a little like it sounds a little sillier because of like the rhyming of it or whatever. It doesn't have
Right.
that same punch.
Yeah,
And
I don't know if I ever told you the whole meaning behind the crypto blood thing. It was literally like almost like a it's not. Is that a double entendre? Kind of
mm-hmm.
not, but kind of. It's like Crips and Bloods. I'm like crypto and blood. So
Yeah, that
that's
makes
kind of where
sense.
I got that from. I came up with that name in 2014.
Yeah, well, it's still
Yeah.
holding pretty strong, especially since
Yeah.
it's becoming much more of a crypto and less of like a Bitcoin blood wouldn't sound quite
Right.
the same.
No, I wouldn't.
But
It was a broader. I think the crypto space or blockchain is going to be much bigger than Bitcoin eventually.
hmm
Um. So yeah.
yeah, and also I guess the double entendre with blood is blood in the streets when like the markets are
Oh
crashing,
man.
and that's when
Yes.
you go
I
gobble
always
stuff
laugh
up.
when I see all the other influencers and say like crypto blood in the streets. I'm like, yes, me.
Yeah,
I'm here.
boosting the street cred, you know.
Right, right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
they
So how you been, man? It's been I haven't talked to you in maybe about 2, 3 months, maybe
yeah, it's
even
been
longer than
since
that.
like
4 months. I don't know.
I don't know what month was it that we got on. I don't remember.
Was COVID going around?
I don't think so, or it was just starting or
Just
something.
starting.
So it could be
It
like
was just starting.
9 months or something. It could be a long
Yeah.
ass time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a while. Stuff is still going just about the same.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, as I tell everyone, I have a lot of survivor's guilt about, last year was great for me, and this year's been pretty great too. And that's not
Yeah.
what a lot of people can say. But
Yeah, yeah. Same here, man. It's weird, and I had COVID. So
ooh,
I
nasty.
got a chance to, yeah, my family, my wife, daughter, father-in-law, my stepfather, like it hit us all pretty hard. No one passed, thank God. But yeah, last year was pretty good from a business perspective.
Yeah.
I joined EOS Detroit, VP of marketing over there. Actually now managing director. That just
Well,
went
nice.
official this year, 2021. But you're right, man. It was a great year for me, ironically enough. It's weird.
Yeah, and I did do a post a few days ago that just said like I understand how you'd be such a sourpuss if you aren't into the decentralized money revolution, because like the whole world is kind of like a little crappy to a lot of people's eyes, but like if you're into the crypto stuff, you're just seeing all kinds of cool stuff all the time, and it's just a completely different perspective. And so I see
Yeah.
all that's how I know which of my friends are into that side of things and aren't, because of I just look and scroll through Facebook and I just see the misery posts. I'm like, you don't do crypto, do you?
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crypto is the trend I'm seeing, Joel, is like it's more corporate, not institution this go around. Like
Yeah.
17 was like institutional kind of hedge fund,
Mm-hmm.
retail, FOMO. This go round, I'm seeing it's more corporate entities literally buying it to hedge,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which is very interesting. And
Yeah.
I think even it's a bigger topic than even when the hedge fund guys got in, because
Well,
these are going to be longer hodls. These are longer term hedges.
yeah. It's like dealing with, future profitability and stuff like that. Well, before we jump
Right.
right into that, I just want to point out down in the live super chat, if you go to cointr.ee/the desert lakes, you can leave a little donation with a message and it pops up on the screen as like a live crypto chat. And so, yeah, that's where it is. Do you have a crypto chat yet? I mean, a coin tree yet? I think I
Don't.
harassed you on Twitter today about it.
Oh yeah, no, I don't. I need to get one.
Yeah, so it's like a link tree or like one of those other kinds of things with all your links to all your stuff, except you also have all your crypto donation addresses you can sub in. And I set up a little plugin thing that, shout out to Bitcoin Jake for making that thing so you can actually do it in live things and kind of get around, because as far as I know, first off, I don't use, I don't use fiat for stuff, so I can't get YouTube super chats. And even if I could, they take like 30% or something of them, like Google does all the time. And, it's just, it's not going to work out. So that's the good
Yeah.
thing about this.
No, I really commend you and
Mm-hmm.
Ken Bozak. You guys um really set the bar really high for people to talk about I'm into crypto. No, like you're really into crypto.
Yeah. I think,
Like so
I think, Ken specifically does lines of crypto. Like
right.
he's a little, he's a little tweaked out on crypto.
Right. Right.
Yes.
No, but I commend you guys. You're like really pushing
Mm-hmm.
it, and I really like that. Like, everyone has their space and their
Mm-hmm.
purpose within the space, and we need more people like you to show you and Ken to show people it can be done.
Yeah.
And
Well, thanks. And
kudos to you.
I don't think we'll be that lonely for that long, just because we're crazy new. Because, yeah, again, picking up right where we were, you talk about a bunch of companies starting to hedge into crypto. I think we're just seeing it more because individuals don't announce to the whole world when they put a lot of their savings in crypto. But
That's right.
but you do see the publicly traded companies and stuff start to do that, and they're also a lot more risk averse. Whereas like a person will, I got some extra money, I'll throw some investment in here. It is what it is. But the company, can you imagine in like 2014, say, if Amazon, let's say, put like 1% of their reserves into Bitcoin or something, like everyone would, how horribly irresponsible that would seem. Like, why are you doing this? You're just gambling with like company money. Everyone would dump the stock. It'd
Right.
be over. But now it's
Yeah.
just like, I don't know about this dollar situation going on.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And we knew this was going to happen. We just didn't know when.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with I think COVID really accelerated that, man. That's really what happened. I think it moved everything forward.
Mm-hmm.
The timeline moved forward with COVID. Um, and now you have what we have, so much more money printing by the Federal Reserve, all the stimulus money and stuff.
Yeah.
So, these companies are like, wait a minute, I'm losing purchasing power with the cash reserves that I have. I need to do something other than gold. Let me look into Bitcoin. And, I would have to say what's MicroStrategy is probably the first kind of public, big time company that
Mm-hmm.
professed their love for Bitcoin,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, maybe I can't tell if it's that or like Twitter/Square is, because the whole Jack Dorsey stuff has been. It's been interesting to see that Square Crypto was like talking about telling the FinCEN to stop with their proposed like regulations and stuff. And I mean,
Yeah, I
like
love that.
Square is, as far as I know, like again, I don't keep track of these major payment processing companies, but as far as I know, it's the most recognizable brand in little coffee shops and stuff I go to. It's like they always got the little Square reader, and it's pretty much a ubiquitous. And if one of the biggest payment companies, the most prominent ones in the whole country and possibly the world, who knows, is just saying you cannot crack down on this stuff. It'll ruin the future of business. And that same guy who runs Twitter, which is arguably the largest or the most prominent social network. I think Facebook and stuff gets more traffic, but as far as like, for example, when Trump got banned off of Facebook and Twitter, which is another crazy shit show there, people talked more about the Twitter than the Facebook, because the Twitter is,
that's true.
It's more linkable. It's like more it's more like the public forum. And so when
I didn't even know that. You're right, because I didn't know he was banned off of Facebook until until like later that day or a day later.
Yeah.
In Twitter, I heard right away, but he's more active, I think, on. I don't know. I'm not on Facebook, so I couldn't tell you. I don't know how active he is on Facebook.
It's a different content type. Twitter's. I hate to talk good things about Twitter, because I don't enjoy how the company's conducting itself as far as like free speech and stuff.
Yep.
But as far as like the core product, it's a pretty solid thing. I think it's the best social network, not because it's like feature limited. You can just do like the one thing, and it's streamlined. It's like you're in the game. You're not just, let me like change who can see this post and all these little settings and all that, who's a friend or a follower. It's just you're right to the stuff. And so that's why the crypto-based Twitter alternative that wins out is going to be like the forefront of the new age. But that does remind me, Library went ahead and synced Donald Trump's YouTube channel to Library before he could do it himself. Nice. And so just say, like, just whenever you want, we'll hand you over the keys. We just want to make sure it's backed up in case crazy stuff happens. And I remember checking the channel. I had like 40 followers, and then today it had like over 60,000, which is pretty good for Library. I think Naomi Brockwell is one of the biggest people on Library. Has like 30,000, I think. So like already that's like probably a ton of new people to the platform. And so
that's true.
Who knows? Like wait for him to. I don't think he has very much longer, honestly. I don't want to get too politically. I don't think he has that much longer where he is like has the biggest reach of anyone on the planet. Right now, he's still kind of that person. But if only he could use his last few tweeting days to say, Library is huge, it's amazing, perfect. Everyone go over there.
It's fantastic. Listen, Library, they're not made in China.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Right here in America. Good company.
Right here in America. Yeah, no, I feel you. It's just a sad state of affairs we have in America, man. I'm really disappointed, bro. I'm really disappointed as a black person. I don't know, man. Like, I understand all the riots and stuff that happened with George Floyd, justifiable. But what's happening is you take the other side, it's like the censoring, man, is just out of control. And it started with Alex Jones.
Yeah.
When they took Alex.
He's the canary in the coal mine.
He's the canary in the coal. I said, no, you didn't take Alex Jones off, did you? They literally took Alex Jones. It doesn't matter if he's hyperbolic in his speech sometimes. Let his audience of 3-4 million people listen to what they want to.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand this stuff, man. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed is, because I joined a bunch of alternative networks. I never got into Gab, but I'm on Parler.
I didn't either.
And
yeah, I'm on Parler.
On Parler. Mastodon and a whole bunch of other stuff. And especially Parler is a great example, because it's just literally one group of people that migrated off Twitter and Facebook over there. I mean, there's some diversity. There's some like crypto people. There's some, I don't know, like libertarian people, but it's mostly like Trump style conservatives. And
that's the problem I had. And I for the most part I like Trump. I like President Trump. And I have no problem telling people that. And the funny thing is, when I tell people that look like me,
they get angry.
Especially the males. No, the males don't. But they're scared to say it. Yeah. Black males actually like Trump, bro. I'm telling you. I know I run into so many that are like, yeah, he's a little this, but I like this. I like what he did about this and this. So,
Yeah.
but I said all that to say on Parlor,
Hmm.
it's too much of an echo chamber.
Yeah, and it
It's
goes weird
like,
when it is. Like, that's the thing is when I believe, I mean, everything has a million tangents to everything, but like, I do believe that you have to be checked regularly or you start to go insane. And that's
yep,
one thing when you're like, I don't think enough people understand the, trying to get political, whatever, the lockdowns, the effect it's had on people's brains.
sure,
Has been just not being able to be around other people. I've seen people I know over the course of the last year, and just the posts they make and stuff is like, whoa, this person's going a little dark here. This is not cool. And the same thing with these with echo chambers and stuff. You don't want to cut. I mean, I know that people say, "Oh, we want to censor those people. Go away. We don't like what they have to say." The problem is once you censor them, they don't go away. They go somewhere else, and then they get
right,
radicalized and they get crazy, and they start.
exactly.
They might have been half right, and now they're like, let's again, assuming they got censored. I'm assuming from that perspective that they got censored correctly. Then they're going to be even more wrong and more
Yep,
empowered in how wrong they are. And then you're going to see them. The next time you're not going to just see them on Twitter. You're going to see them in front of your house or in front of the state house or whatever. They're going to be
yep,
there. And then you're going to be like, whoa, how did this happen? Well, it's because you
yeah,
marginalized them.
yeah, and that's what I see happen on Parlor.
Hmm.
It's just a hell of an echo chamber, man. I'm not for that. I like dialogue. I like
Hmm.
disagreeing with people. I like challenging my thoughts by other people's opposing ideas.
Hmm.
That's what we should have. We're getting so far away from that, and I have to blame the left for that, though.
Yeah, I would probably agree.
I have to blame the left, man. They don't want you to say anything outside of what their agenda is, and so
That's
it's interesting.
that's the thing is this is where I, I really appreciate what libraries done, not from a technological standpoint. I definitely appreciate that, but I appreciate they've been very aggressive in courting non like non-typical censored voices. Like, of course, they got conspiracy people and right-wing people and stuff on there, but they've been very aggressive in going after artists and gamers and things like that, and just to round out the audience
Hmm.
because there's been a lot of course, like gaming channels that have gotten censored over like the SJW type stuff, but they're not like right wing people necessarily.
Right,
And there's been a lot of
right.
comedians and artists and stuff that have gotten censored, and they're just as soon as they see one of those, they go after them and try to get them on the platform. And then eventually you can have like an actual like open discourse forum and not just, where all the crazies migrated to.
Yep,
You know, not
yep.
saying they're crazy. I'm just saying like contextually from the greater
That's
thing.
right,
But
right.
so as
Exactly.
we're talking about how a lot of things have gone one way in the world, in I guess my perspective down. If you're on the seesaw, other things have gone up.
That's
So,
right. Crypto,
like for
baby.
example, crypto. Like I didn't check Bitcoin today. Like recently, last couple hours, it's still like 41,000 or something. Is it?
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So it's
41.
you know, which is pretty incredible if you think about it. Like if you're one of those suckers who bought in late like December of 2017, you like bought it like 19 to 20,000.
You doubled your money.
You double your money already. Like even though you bought it at the worst possible time, and I don't think it's over. I think we have another few months at least towards the end of the year before we hit the top. Just a gut feeling, and some other people have speculated on that. But we got plenty of time for just more explosive growth, and Ethereum as well. Of course, Ethereum kicked off majorly. I haven't been checking that as much, but it is over 1,000 right now, isn't it?
It is. And Ethereum, I have my gripes about Ethereum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
I do too. But let's hear yours
okay.
first.
No, but it's more so on the technical standpoint. I'm not even that technical.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a blockchain programmer, but I do have a software engineering background. But um, I'm more so talking about the price. Let's just talk about price. It
Mm-hmm.
is going to explode higher. I
Mm-hmm.
think it hasn't eclipsed its last all time high. Once it does that, it's almost like Bitcoin repeating its
Yeah.
pattern of hitting 20,000. I attribute Bitcoin eclipsing the 20,000 all-time high, previous high, as I don't know. I think you're an OG in the game, I
Yeah.
believe, from our
2013.
talk with 2013. Same with me. Remember when Bitcoin touched 1100?
Yeah. It was like a second.
It was yeah, and it fell back. That was Mount
Hmm.
Gox, whatever. But once when we crossed that 1100 again, it
Hmm.
was just like all over.
It's on.
It
Yeah.
was just on. So I think that's what's going to happen with this threshold of crossing 20,000. Is like us crossing 1100
Hmm.
back in the day.
Yeah.
I like you said, I see us going 100,000 easily.
Yeah. I've heard like a one to 130,000 as like a lowball prediction. And of course, like, who can predict anything? This is just based on like past, if the past repeats itself. And I hate to like, usually I'm like the party pooper who does not, I don't care too much about price. I get excited when like new stuff happens, like people start using this, or like a new, for example, the ShapeShift thing.
Yeah,
That thing really excited me because I don't really know Eric Voorhees too well, but he was a member of like he used to come to up here to the New Hampshire crypto meetups and stuff, and like people know him from way back in the day. And it seems like he was like really like OG, super hardcore, dedicated towards decentralization and all this stuff. From the outsider perspective, it looks like he kind of sold out for a bit when he started doing like the KYC and other things ahead of when he needed to. I mean, there
yeah.
might have been some
I
time,
kind of thought that way too.
and then now
Seeing
he's
that,
come full circle. And
I love it.
there might be an element to, again, I can't guess people's motivations. There might be an element to it that the KYC way of doing things is just not going to be profitable anymore, and he's seeing on the handwriting on the wall for his business. There could be that, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say it's for good reasons. That Shapeshift is going no KYC now. They're going DEX, decentralized exchange, and they're starting with only Ethereum and Ethereum tokens, but then they're adding Bitcoin and other forks later, like in Q1 of this year. So, by the end of March, I guess. So first, what's your hot take on that whole thing?
Great move. I agree with you. I thought he sold out just
Mm-hmm.
watching from the early years of seeing him.
Yeah.
And then he started Shapeshift, and then it kind of seemed to kind of get commercial. But no, this is great. This is a great move. I'm just concerned about the long arm of the law
Mm-hmm.
in the United States, man. I just feel like when they get desperate, and they will, they're going to attack any and everyone. Um, and because you can be a decentralized exchange, but if the organization isn't decentralized, if it's not a DAO,
Mm-hmm.
if it's not autonomous, you still have a central point of failure,
Yeah. That's for
right?
sure.
And so that's my only concern when we get to the point where he's like, we're making this whole thing a DAO.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can't even, I don't even own it fully, or whatever. That's like even the next step after this. This is a step in the right direction for sure. I love it.
Yeah,
I'm hyped.
that's going to be a complicated thing to go after because like no one has
I
ever
know.
gone after the Bitcoin core developers as far as I know, or just
Right.
open source developers and like Ethereum has like a foundation, they did an ICO and stuff. So there's a lot more stuff you could go after, I think. But it's I don't know, I think it'll be really hard, and based on how quickly he went KYC in, when we got to do accounts, we got to do KYC, and then delistings and stuff. That's I think he's like proactively ahead of the curve on like whatever the law is going to crack down on. He's like a scaredy cat almost, which is, I'm not using that as a criticism. I'm just saying he's
Yeah.
staying ahead of it a little bit.
Yeah. Did my screen lock up or no?
Yeah,
I'm good. Okay.
it's
There
been
we go.
freezing a couple times, but mostly
Okay.
people can see you, people can hear
All
you,
right. Cool.
and
No. Yeah. I agree with you, man. But it's a step in the right direction, and
mm-hmm,
I'm excited. That's great that he's doing that. I have a question though. I saw someone on Twitter, one
mm-hmm,
of my followers, ask me about Trace Mayer
hmm.
and how he's been MIA. Have you? heard or seen
No,
him.
that's the first I heard about that. I think just hasn't. I heard about Jack Ma of over in China not being heard from for a while. That's a little more unsettling. But
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. Uh, it's interesting with all this. The delisting part especially is interesting because they're basically, as far as I know, there's been very little actual regulation against anything enhancing anonymity in most jurisdictions. There's been little to do with that. There's been a lot of banks not wanting to work with crypto exchanges that do have coins that do kind of stuff like that. And there's been just a lot of like, oh, I don't know, this could get us in trouble. We'll just delist that, which is kind of funny because ShapeShift at one point delisted Zcash, Dash, and Monero.
Hmm.
It got rid of all of them. And then somewhere along the way, it quietly relisted Dash, didn't tell anyone. And that's kind of where it is today. And hopefully,
Hmm.
with this whole DEX situation, they get to relist everything. Now, in the same regulatory environment is Kraken and Coinbase. They're both U.S. companies.
Hmm.
And also Gemini.
Hmm.
As far as I know, Zcash is on all three of those. I know it's on Gemini. I know it's on Coinbase. I think it's got to be on Kraken. Uh, Coinbase also has Dash. Gemini never did. Uh, and Kraken has Dash, Zcash, and Monero, as far as I'm aware. And they've spoken. They say basically, we've looked at all the regulations. We don't see a need for we don't see a need to delist these from a regulatory standpoint. Yet, then you have, was it Bittrex delisting all three of
They
those?
sure did.
And so
Are
I,
they
yeah,
still? Is Bittrex still in Las Vegas, or are they out of the country now?
they must be in the U.S. otherwise, because I have not actually looked into that, but I do know that,
I think they were in Nevada, I
yeah,
believe.
all the other exchanges that have chimed in on this have said that basically they have the same regulatory environment, which would mean U.S. based. And the funny thing about that is, I kind of have a little bit more familiarity with this issue a little bit just because I'm pretty close with the Dash community and the Dash world has gone through this thing a lot. So, what Dash uses for its privacy is a CoinJoin variant, which you can use CoinJoin. You basically mix all your funds together and then send
Hmm.
them out where people can't kind of link where they came from. You can use CoinJoin on Bitcoin Cash, on Litecoin,
Yep.
all things like that. The only difference with Dash is the function is in the core client, and it
Hmm.
uses the masternode network for basically a less trust, like a more trustless way of doing this whole thing. But it's the exact same thing, and as such, a lot of people, I believe, Chainalysis and Perkins Coin, and a few other companies that specialize in blockchain analysis have determined that that Dash's privacy coin status, as it were, is no greater than that of Bitcoin, so it should be treated the same under a regulatory standpoint. And in every case where it has been delisted, it's been because the exchange or because the bank or the regulator like read some article calling it a privacy coin and has nothing to do with actually looking into what it does. So when you have something like Bittrex, I have a feeling they're under pressure for some reason, or they're scared for some reason, and they're doing a knee jerk thing just to be safe. Which is funny because as far as I know, Bittrex still lists PivX, which is got some encrypted privacy
Sure does.
functions, and they just because it's just not on the list of like the three big privacy coins that the you see in the news, like so all this stuff is not, it's a very like knee jerk based on just like almost no information from my experience.
Yeah, and I think it will continue. The
Mm-hmm.
irrational, knee-jerk reactions from the government will continue,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll end up looking stupid,
Yeah.
and they'll just be more draconian the next time.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad, man. So I think there's a war that the privacy coins will
Mm-hmm.
be is yet to come. So
Yeah.
that's why I tell people, like, if you're holding privacy coins for them to moon, I would be a little apprehensive about that
Yeah.
because I see them as a utility, not as an investment right now, because of how much the governments are going to ring fence and
Hmm.
try to segregate those coins away,
Yeah.
push them off to the side to the dark web and stuff, where there won't be any on ramps to really get those coins here in the United States. Now that's where DEXs come in, right?
Hmm.
And that's going to be a great thing. But I think they're even going to attack the companies that own these DEXs, that run these DEXs, until we're fully decentralized, where
Yeah.
the DEX is owned by a DAO. That's the ultimate point we need to get to.
Yeah, and that's the real thing is who actually runs the DEX, and like how is it actually structured? Like,
Right.
is there a group of developers that just run most of the infrastructure you can kind of go to and shut it all down? So here's a recent example on that sort of a thing.
Okay.
A product and service DEX, one could call, is OpenBazaar. And
Hmm.
OpenBazaar recently shut down because basically they weren't getting enough traction and investment in the actual company OB1, and
Hmm.
they OB1 was running a lot of the infrastructure to make this work. And so they just said we can't do this anymore, and they stopped running all that stuff, which I think is sad for sentimental reasons, but
Hmm.
it is what it is. I mean, no one. Why would you, if you can go to Etsy and buy whatever you want, you can go to Amazon, buy basically whatever you want. Why would you go to Open Bazaar? It's kind of like,
Hmm.
why would you go to the Silk Road? Oh wait, illegal stuff. You can buy
Right.
illegal stuff. At least there's something you can buy there you can't buy
Right.
elsewhere.
Right.
But so it goes to show that like Open Bazaar is like kind of going away because the one company that built it kind of doesn't have the money to run some essential infrastructure. So even though it's decentralized, it just didn't shake out that way. And so that's what I want to know about these DEXs. Who built them? That doesn't matter, but who's running the infrastructure now? Like, if they just go away, does it still run? Does it still have all the liquidity? Is the code still open source so people can still build on it and then keep running implementations? Like that, I'm sure varies based on which DEX we're talking about.
Sure. Yeah, because you got a Binance type of DEX, right? We know that's run by a centralized company.
Yeah.
So there's a central point of failure there, you
Yeah,
know?
I'm pretty sure the Binance DEX is probably meant to just get around regulation. Just saying, no, it's a DEX. We can't do anything about it. We're not holding it. We're not custodying customer funds. It's
Right.
probably
But
just that.
the thing is, you already know they're going to just move the goalposts. They're just gonna move the goal. That's what they do. They move the goalposts. They'll make up new regulation and laws to say, hey, if you're the owner of a DEX, then you are, just as though you're holding custody. They'll do all that stuff, man. And so that's what I mean by there's still some some headway or headwinds for us to um, come up against when it comes to privacy coins. Hold them or utilize them for its utility. Me personally, wouldn't at this point speculate on them as a hodl position type thing. That's just me. I
Yeah.
can't speak for everyone. Everyone's going to have their own way of doing things. So,
Well, I've been neglecting the live chat for a second. Thanks, Anonymous, for the donation. Very appreciate it. Next anonymous person actually left a message. Crypto Blood, love what you're doing. Saw you on Hotep Jesus' show.
oh yeah,
How big of a
that's my
deal
guy.
would it be for Dash to have trustless masternode shares with optimal time locks, etc.? Or are there other things like that you'd like to see more of?
So that would be a question, maybe so more so for you, Joel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I think it would be kind of hard to do, wouldn't it be?
I'm trying to think. I don't know too much about like the time lock stuff. That's the thing I don't know most about. But I do know that you kind of right now have to run it in a one person has to kind of run the node itself. And so
Right.
that is all that for the moment is is trusted. And
Yep.
as far as if you're going to group together, what isn't necessarily is owning the collateral. So let's say there's 5 people that want to join together and create a masternode. Those 5 people, with like 200 dash each, those five
Hmm.
people can all basically sign they can all pull their funds and then sign and have signed but not broadcast a refund transaction that sends it all back. So basically, it's the master. It's all one collateral, all in one spot. It's all running. But any one of these 5 parties at any time can just broadcast the already pre-signed multi-sig transaction from all those people that just refunds everyone their money. And so you still have to like get one of those guys to run the node and do stuff like that. And right now, I think there's only one voting key, like to actually vote on treasury proposals. It's not a multi-sig key yet, although that could be made in the future. And then you could get basically one person can just get all the money back and dissolve the node. So you don't have to actually trust someone with your money completely. I'm sure a lot of that can be optimized. It's kind of an ugly hack right now. I'm sure a lot of that can be optimized in the future where you have like an app where you just all join together and then it's easy. But it's one of those things where obviously for scaling reasons and such, you don't want to have too many nodes. That's why, you have delegated proof of stake systems. That's why Ethereum has like a limit behind this staking for ETH 2.0. That's why, et cetera, et cetera. And so you don't want, if you have like 10 million nodes running and you have to like, it just doesn't scale correctly. So you have to have
And that's the thing I talk to people about all the time, is the fact that there is a threshold, there is a point where too much decentralization is too much.
yeah,
I think
especially like right now.
there has to be some level of centralization, whether it's 10%, 5%, there has to be a fallback mechanism in there. Let's say the code goes awry or something happens. If it, like you said, in the scenario where it's a million, 10 million nodes, everything is so sprawled out, it's going to be hard to move and update and patch and do stuff, in my opinion. So I think when you talk about decentralization, centralization is not a black and white, it's not a binary thing, in my opinion. I think the ideal situation or scenario for us going forward with decentralized systems is going to be something like a 90 80 80 20 90 10 type of situation, in my opinion.
It's also evolutionary, like over time. Like, sure, you could do a completely decentralized crypto, but you have to get it somewhere. And so then that's where centralized exchanges come in. And then eventually the crypto to crypto stuff, you get dexes that are good enough. You can just kind of pull that off, which I think is probably going to be the next step, is you're going to see crypto to crypto trading stuff become less and less on centralized exchanges, more on dexes. And then crypto exchanges of today will either just be dex developers, like basically develop a dex, or they'll turn into kind of brokerage
Liquidity
things
providers.
or for buying and selling, for trading for fiat. And it would just be a couple big pairs, and then the rest goes on the dexes. And that's the other thing is, shout out to BISC, because BISC is like the one actually decentralized way you can get crypto for fiat. It's a little, I have to say, it's a little clunky. I haven't used it recently because it was a nightmare the last time I used it. But basically, you can say, hey, I want to buy, $100 worth of Bitcoin or whatever, and then someone else can say they want to, and then they set up a like exchange where they send you a bank wire or they send you something like that. And then it all works a lot better in Europe, where the banking laws are not as nonsense as they are in this country. But then there's like an escrow thing, and then at some point it's like solved and stuff. And so that's like the one way. Once you start having that become pretty seamless, where you can just show up, run your little BISC node, and then just like, I'm going to trade, boop, just went out of the bank, went into here. It's that simple. Then that's when it's like game over. But of course, then the banks are always going to do something like, well, we have to verify the person who's sending this and that. They're going to start clamping down, and then
Oh yeah, they're gonna move the goalposts, man, because
yeah,
it's their cartel we're encroaching on, and they're not gonna go down, just laying down. It's gonna be a fight,
of
man,
course.
and the fight hasn't even started yet. That's the crazy thing.
Which is funny
That's
with Ripple. It all comes full circle
Let's
to
talk
Ripple
about Ripple.
because basically Ripple is being sued by the U.S. SEC for operating basically an illegal security, and so Ripple, of course, got ahead of this and said, "Oh, we're fighting this, blah blah blah," and it's been pretty comical because Ripple said, I don't want to. I'm trying to be as like, serious, but no, it's kind of a little bit of a joke because they came out and said this is an attack on all crypto, and I'm just thinking, I mean, no, it isn't, because everyone saw this coming a mile away, and then they said they went full Trump. They said China. In their arguments,
Oh Lord!
their arguments,
I didn't see that part, man.
I'm not even kidding. In their arguments, they said, we recommend that the SEC declare Ripple not a security for policy reasons. Again, not legal reasons. They're making a policy argument because it would be it's the only major cryptocurrency not controlled by China is basically their argument. There's a U.S. cryptocurrency. And just like, oh my gosh. Not only do you say it's an attack on all crypto, but then you tried to throw all these actually decentralized cryptos under the bus by saying they're run by China. It's just like,
I can't
it's clown
stand
world,
Ripple,
man.
bro. I can't stand Ripple. And I had a debate with my man Ken Bozak.
Yeah. Is he a Ripple guy?
No, here's his position. I think I don't know if he's a Ripple guy or not, but his position is, if the SEC takes down Ripple, it's bad for all cryptos. It sets a high watermark, a standard now that they'll have to
XRP,
go
the standard.
after.
Sorry.
XRP, the standard. They'll go after everyone else after that. I'm like, no, bro, don't think of it that way. It's the fact that they're centrally controlled. They really, to me, this is my problem with Ripple and their whole XRP token thing. They really just used and pimped their token holders for years, because what they did was a transfer of wealth. They would get people to buy into this whole pipe, this dream, right? This pie in the sky dream, and then what they do behind on other side of the coin, they're every month liquidating Ripple for marketing and expansion needs. No, you're literally transferring the wealth from token holders to yourself, Ripple INC, and you're going out and buying real assets. You're buying businesses. You're buying you building out all this type of stuff, that tangible things you're doing with that money, while you just dangling this carrot in front of everyone, saying that they're going to be the central bank's infrastructure. Come on now. Yeah. No central bank is going to use anything other than a proprietary system that they create. They want full control over their blockchain network and whoever they communicate with. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. That's like the easiest thing to understand. Like, come on, man. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
It's especially I'm not super up on every inner working about Ripple, but as far as I've been able to tell, the token is relatively useless. Like, you can transfer it.
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, and that's the big problem is, as far as I know, all the things they've been talking about have been...
Doesn't use Ripple.
Yeah, it does not use XRP. The token.
XRP.
Which is the same thing. Do you remember when it was called Ripple? The token
I do.
was called Ripple.
I do. See, and this is the stuff that these newer guys don't understand. It's been this stuff going on before they got onto the scene, bro. Like, they tried to set, because they knew it was a security. So then that's when they started trying to separate themselves, but not separate themselves from it. Like, either you're gonna be with the coin and token and rep it, or you're not. And they tried to separate themselves from it. But you're right. Like, in their technology stack, I just don't see they're making good stuff over there, but
Mm-hmm.
in their technology stack, I don't see a use for the token.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think they're kind of like proto ICO people. Like, remember in the ICO boom, everyone just like made a million tokens, they got a bunch of money, and then did, fuck all with it, right? I think it's kind of it. They were like way ahead of the curve on that. That they're like,
Well,
oh,
remember back in the day, we had a kind of ICOs, right? They were just the people will go on Bitcoin Talk,
yeah,
right? And they'll post and say, I got a new coin. It's got this supply. Here's a faucet or whatever. Like that was like the prototypical ICO.
yeah,
And that's what they kind of did, I believe.
yeah. Except they actually like sold the stuff, and that's the thing. They start a
Right. They
company.
sold it. Right.
They start a company, and then they just print a million tokens, and then they just start selling them, and they realizing that it's like doing an IPO, except these aren't these have nothing to do with the company. They're just crap. You just sell people, and you can use
Which is
them.
like the best Ponzi. That's
It's the
like the
best scam
biggest
ever.
scam. Best scam ever. Best scam
Yeah,
ever.
and that's the thing is it's like I don't see how they're gonna win this case. If they do, holy shit, am I gonna hire those lawyers to do anything? Like I can hire their
Yeah.
legal if they win, I can hire their legal team to declare that I'm actually the president of the United States, even though I never had
Now,
an
if they
election, got a vote.
win, now the thing is, if they win, that does change the game. But
Yeah.
they're not. I'm just gonna let you know, the SEC is not gonna allow that big of a company to win, bro. It's just like
Yeah.
if people are naive, man.
And
Like,
that flagrant. That's been the real thing is they
right,
printed a million coins. They've been consistently hiring ex regulators and stuff and paying off companies like that forever. Then they have been advised by lawyers many years ago that this could constitute a securities legal security offering. Then they rebranded their token that was called Ripple to the ticker XRP and pretended like it was something else. But were even too lazy to start like an XRP.org. Instead, they just have a page on the XRP token on their own site, their Ripple website. And then you have their CTO, I believe it was, said in some public statements that they had XRP tokens for the purpose of raising capital for the company. And there's just like every step of the way, it's just like, man, it's almost like when you're watching like a murder movie, a murder story kind of thingy, and you could tell it's for a general unsophisticated audience, and you just
right.
like they're trying to make it really stupid, so like you can bring your 12-year-old kid and he'll
don't
connect the
and don't
dots.
get. And I don't want to offend anyone, but
Yeah.
every time I would hear like in the streets, if I'm out somewhere and cryptocurrencies come up, and it's a more less sophisticated or less seasoned person in crypto, 9 times out of 10 they're talking about they have XRP. So they targeted people who were less informative about this space, and that was another flag for me. I'm like, why is it common? Why do I keep seeing the pattern of people that really aren't into crypto have XRP?
Yeah.
And
Well,
so that was
people
another
fighting.
red flag for me, man.
People used to fight over like which is the one true Bitcoin. I think that XRP is the one true BitConnect to a certain extent, because not quite in the same way. I think they were a little less like directly scammy, because I don't think the company Ripple is necessarily a scam, but
No, the company
they,
Ripple is not a scam.
they scam people with the token, and
Right.
they tried to scam the government, and no one gets away with scamming the government, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out, because what happens if it gets declared a security, and they don't just get a fine, it's now forever after a security. Therefore,
That's right.
everyone who has, first off, every exchange who has an XRP token listed has to either become a securities exchange or
Yep.
has to get rid of it.
Yep.
But on the other side, what about if every single XRP holder now owns stock in the company Ripple, as they should? Like if you're selling this, you're selling part of your stuff. Like you're not just selling crap that does nothing. You should be raising money by selling a stake in the future of the company. And then now all of a sudden these people like get to own a bit of Ripple, And then what if they all
So,
dump?
so what?
Yeah.
Well, so what's going to? This is the interesting thing.
Hmm.
What's the fair market value of XRP token? Because what I think is going to happen is
Hmm.
the judgment is going to come down. This was an unregistered security. They have to pay back the funds to
Yeah.
those token holders.
Yeah.
What is the fair market value of XRP?
Oof.
Does that make them go bankrupt? You
Probably.
know, I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
that's why they also use the token to try to acquire all the MoneyGram and stuff like that. I forget which one they bought. I think it was MoneyGram that they bought.
Hmm.
That they're
They
they're
bought a share in of it. They didn't. I don't think they bought like a portion of it or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So first off, they create this token that they say does stuff, but really doesn't. I mean, it does whatever crypto stuff does. You could send it around, right? But it doesn't do anything special. And then they're using that to keep people distracted while they're trying to build interbank relationships and get them to use their technology, but not their
Exactly.
token. And then while that's starting to become shaky, then they're like, well, we still got a bunch of these tokens that we can sell
Hmm.
to acquire a stake in the industry players who are already there. So in case we can't even get people to use our technology, we're at least going to own a bit of like all the people who are already doing it the old school way. And it's like I understand it's a smart business move to a certain extent, but it's very risky. It's very risky, and I think and it's very shady, and they're kind of chickens coming home to roost on that stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad, man. I think because you
Mm-hmm.
got people who have to realize. Um, I was in New York back in 17.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 17, right? And I was going out there to meet with some VCs or whatnot, and I saw a paper. It was like a pamphlet, and it had Ripple in the middle, and it had all
Mm-hmm.
these VC companies, firms around Ripple, and a lot of VCs invested in Ripple,
Mm-hmm.
and so what does that mean for the VCs? It's going to be wild, man. So
Yeah.
I see in your title you have XRP bounce. Yeah, every market that's dying has dead cat bounces. That's
Yeah.
just I'm a trader. I know these are dead cat bounces, and so the dead cat bounce can be one of two things. Actually, it can be both of these things. It can be
Mm-hmm.
people covering their shorts. When you cover a short, you have to buy it back, so you're going to have a bounce,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have naive people buying at these different levels
Yeah.
coming down. So dead cat bounces. This is exactly what this is with XRP. Mark my word, Crypto Dominus is letting you guys know this is an opportunity to
Mm-hmm.
sell at these levels because maybe not this year, 2021. It may be 2022. It
Or
may be 20. I
2023.
don't know when it's going to be, but it will be a day when SEC finally comes out with their judgment, and it is, man, sub 5 penny,
Yeah.
easy.
It's be pretty brutal, and that's the thing about like the rally. It's like it's going up for now, and not just it was a bounce. There's a couple little bounces on the way down, but now it's like as people say, oh, it's undervalued. Maybe I can get it, and then the greed sets in. They're like, what if this isn't actually crashing, even though every indicator tells me it is? What if I'm just smarter than everyone else, and I can just get in now while it's low, and I'll be the genius saying, oh, look at all these stuff I bought with my XRP gains. Have fun staying poor,
Yeah.
and all
And
that
the thing
stuff.
is, if you can navigate it, if you're disciplined enough,
Mm-hmm.
is there a trade there? Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. I'm not saying you couldn't double your money on one of these dips, but boy, timing is, 99% of the people don't time it right. And it's just to
Yeah.
most people time it because they're lucky or whatnot. But
Well, that's the thing.
yeah,
If you're
yeah,
unscrupulous, it might be smart and you know how long these kinds of court cases tend to play out. You might be
yeah,
like, you know what? We're coming up on like crypto bull market alt season. All I have to
right.
do is just buy a bunch, say you're buying a bunch, and then the price goes up. Then FOMO starts
Yep,
hitting. Tons of people get in. And when you start to see towards the
yep,
top, you're like, okay, now I'm getting rid of not just half. Like, I'm not just selling half. I'm selling all of it. I'm getting all the way out
yeah,
because I know the retribution's coming. And then,
yeah. If you're a trader, fine. You can trade this absolutely. But if you're one of those individuals as XRP Army, hodl to the end,
mm-hmm,
no, bro, you're going to lose all your money because you're not going to sell at any point. You're thinking it's going to $3,
mm-hmm,
$5 Ripple. XRP, that type of retarded stuff. So sorry for the language, but
Yeah, it's
that,
not
those
smart.
individuals, I'm really who I'm talking to. Like, just
Hmm.
start to scale out. It's not financial advice, but if I were a hodler of XRP and I believed in their ecosystem, I would start scaling out.
Yeah, it's also funny how I wonder because a lot of people have then lateral move into Stellar instead, and
Sure,
isn't Stellar gonna be? Maybe I don't think they've been as egregious, but I think as far as like the structure of it, it's the same thing, right?
it's the
It's
same thing, and I like Stellar. I
yeah.
like Stellar, but they're gonna I think see the same fate as XRP.
Hmm.
Like a lot of these companies, only coins that are going to be pretty cool and are in the clear are, of course, the three that have already been settled, cleared by the SEC:
Hmm.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, EOS,
Hmm.
and then all of your cryptocurrency coins.
Hmm.
I think like a Dash,
Hmm.
a Digibyte, Dogecoin, Bitcoin Cash. I don't think they're not going to be securities.
Yeah.
So all your traditional old school like cryptocurrencies, I think will be fine. Litecoin, another one. But a lot of those other ones, man, it's gonna be
Yeah.
interesting.
A really
It's gonna be
useful
interesting.
site on all this is the Crypto Ratings Council, and they basically
Okay.
rate everything from a ascending scale based on least to most likely to be a security. One is what
Mm,
Bitcoin has, which is like the lowest possible rating. And four is what XRP has, which as we're about to see is going to be, probably a security soon. So the other fours are, I think that's the only four, but Stellar was like 3.75. I think
mm.
Tezos was like 3.5. There's a few
Yeah,
other ones
Tesla's
in there.
another one. Yeah,
Yeah, and the one,
Tesla's
and
another
then you
one.
have Zcash is a two because they do have like a founder's reward and a founding company, and Ethereum was also a two because even though it's decentralized, they still had the ICO and stuff. And it's like the ones off the top of my head were like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Monero, Dash, and a couple others, but like just ones that basically proof of work coins that started, without like a foundation or something like that. So
Exactly.
it's going to be. I mean, how did I didn't pay too much attention? How did the whole EOS thing shake out? Because I know there was some sort of a judgment.
Oh yeah, the judgment that so they were purporting SEC was saying that
Mm-hmm.
they allowed U.S. citizens to participate in their ICO. They did geo fencing, but I
Mm-hmm.
guess that wasn't enough for them. So they got fined, I think 30 million,
Mm-hmm.
and they're good now.
So it's just because the geofencing wasn't enough, and they sold to like U.S. people or something.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
so basically, if it had been, basically they're saying it could have been a security, but because it was outside of the U.S. jurisdiction for the most part, it was just a fine.
right, right.
Yeah. So what you're
It's
saying
weird
is,
though because
mhm,
they didn't label it a security though. It's
mhm.
I have to go back and say so it's not a security because you still have it on like Coinbase and all, like they're good. I don't It's weird.
Yeah, that's gonna.
It's weird. I guess I don't know, man.
I
But
think
they're
that's.
good. They're good. So you're gonna see a premium on those three coins and coins that have unofficially been haven't
Hmm.
officially been cleared. I think with the same criteria, I think are
Yeah.
going to be fine as well. But you're going to see an SEC premium on a lot of these coins,
Well, that's one of those things
unfortunately.
where I think that that might give hope to the Ripple holders because because EOS sort of set the way of, well, you got to fine for the US stuff, but you're getting away. So there's a possibility Ripple just gets a huge fine and pays for it in XRP, just sells a bunch of their stash and pays the fine, and then they're still okay,
The reason why I don't, the reason why I don't think that will be the scenario here is because of all the shady stuff they did with their coin. See,
Yeah.
um, Block One didn't do all that, paying people with tokens and doing all that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it could be a scenario where they just get a bigger fine and
Mm-hmm.
they're able to continue. but I'll have to go back and look at the language
Yeah.
on EOS and what they were saying. The SEC was saying that token was. Was
Hmm.
it that it was just that they sold their token to U.S. citizens, or is it that they said there was unregistered security? I can't remember.
Yeah, well, that's the funny part is a lot of these more when Ripple tried to throw them under the bus by saying, "Oh, China," which I still can't believe is real life. But all the coins they pointed out were probably, I guess, U.S. founded, right? Like Ethereum. I don't know. Is Ethereum Canada or U.S.? I don't know which.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, U.S.
sort
I
of.
would say,
And then
sort of.
you get obviously Bitcoin. Bitcoin's probably US. It's hard to tell.
Kind of hard, but
Litecoin definitely US. A lot of
yeah.
these are US founded things, but the reason you're saying China is because it's decentralized enough that a completely different geography can just end up being one of the major players, like because of mining, for example. It's like, well, no one in China started this stuff, but they just figured out that it was profitable because of the electricity subsidies and stuff. So we're going to all, so a lot of the hash power comes out of there. It's like,
Hmm.
that's how you know it's decentralized, is that you don't choose which ones get like, created like that. Whereas, I don't know, probably a lot
And
of
I think
XRP stuff.
the way that honestly people talk about EOS and how they don't like how they feel like it's centralized, but the
Hmm.
way that Block One actually rolled out EOS, they didn't roll it out. They literally published the source code, and the public, the block producers had to come together and actually launch the main net. They had
Hmm.
no participation in launching the main net.
Yeah.
So I think again the way they went about it was different
Hmm.
than XRP, and it's just I don't know, man. We'll see though. Hey, I could be wrong, but I don't. I think this is going to be Ripple. The company will continue, but I don't think they're going to be able to use that XRP token.
Yeah, it's gonna be it'll be funny if they just decide to like burn all the tokens or something. Because like I don't know if that, and that's the thing about how Ripple structurally works that I don't know too much about. As far as I know, once you get the tokens, no one can like take them from you. But validator nodes, so anyone from my understanding can run a validator node, but
But don't they have ones that are
they are whitelisted, yeah.
yes?
And so the whitelisted ones like all are kind of together, and you can run non-whitelisted ones, I guess, which don't do anything for the main thing, but it's kind of like a hard fork by just like running other stuff. And so it's maybe all those tokens could go on like a non-whitelisted group of nodes and then keep sending around as like a currency or something. The problem is there's no anti-Sybil mechanism. Like anyone can run a validator, therefore someone could spin up a whole bunch and attack the network. Their anti-Sybil mechanism is Ripple Inc. decides which ones are cool. That's literally
Right.
their anti-Sybil thing. So they're going to have to overhaul the technology if, or otherwise they'll have to have the same like whitelist, a different whitelist circulated by a different group or whatever. But that's still the whitelist is still the central point of failure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just don't
Yeah.
mess with any of that stuff. It's just no good.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, it's one of those things where just like you were talking about the privacy, enhanced privacy coins of any kind are probably going to be, if you're getting them for investment purposes, which of course I don't invest anyway. I just use crypto and I end up with what I end up with.
Mm-hmm.
It does make sense that it would be much more of like a long game type of thing, because in like the short to mid term there might be a lot of regulation kind
They're
of
gonna get
stuff.
hammered.
But on the other hand,
Absolutely.
if you push them onto the I wouldn't say like the dark net, but like you push them onto the like DEX world and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, and they become the kings of that world, right? Because you can
Mm-hmm.
only get them there. So almost anyone participating in the ecosystem is there because that's the only place they can go. And then when the rest of the world invariably ends up trending in that direction, they kind of got a stronger adoption position. So, more.
Right. I think it's trouble, like you said, trouble in the short run, long term view of privacy coins are gonna be
Hmm.
great.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you gotta be willing to go through the storm, And
Yeah. What does it say?
yeah.
The market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. It's the same
Yep.
thing. The market can
Yep.
be regulated longer than you can remain solvent if you're kind of doing that for that. But
Exactly.
yeah. Well, let's wrap this thing up. Where could people find more about you and the stuff you
Yeah,
do?
man. Just type Crypto Blood on YouTube. Try to post. I haven't been posting as of this week that much.
Mm-hmm.
I've been really busy with other things. But Crypto Blood there, and then Crypto Blood underscore on Twitter. Those two places are my most active. I don't really like Instagram.
Yeah.
I try to post every once in a while, but I'm not really active there. So if you want to catch me on one of those two platforms. I also publish on Library like Joel. So yeah, catch me there.
Yeah. Well, it's a fun time. Well, everyone, thanks for watching. Obviously, if you subscribe, you could still throw a donation in the Cointree thing. And also, I got to shill Bitrefill because if you use Bitrefill to buy, I pay my phone bill, buy gift cards,
Nice.
Amazon, all that stuff. If you sign up to the account with the promo code DCN, they throw me a few bucks. So that's a good way to get on stuff. So thanks, everyone. Next week is a Dash podcast, but 2 weeks from now is another rundown. So I will see you guys around.
Holla.